So, good evening, ma'am. We are the Group 1, and at this moment, we are tasked to discuss about the policing system of the United States of America. So, my name is Shania Alcala, and I will be the one who introduce about what is the history of policing in United States and how it started. Policing system in United States of America. Next, please. United States of America, commonly known as United States or America, is a country located in North America. We have 7 continents around the world, and USA is located in the area of North America. And it consists of 50 states, and those are, one of those are Louisiana, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Indiana, and many more. And it is the third largest country by both land and total area, with a population of 331.9 million as of 2021. So, imagine kung gaano kalawak ang kanilang nasasakupan. Masyado silang malawak, kaya hindi maiiwasan na magkaroon ng state para ma-organize or ma-implement ng maayos ang kanilang law. And take note that the policing system in United States is decentralized, means marami silang police system, every state, and has own policing. Next. History of policing system in United States of America. Early colonial policy. Policing in what would become the United States of America arose from the law enforcement systems in Europe countries, particularly the ancient English common law system. So, kung ano man ang policing system ng USA ngayon, ay dahil yan sa mga batas na galing sa mga bansang Europeo at particularly na ang sinaunang English common law system. An early night watch formed in Boston in 1631, and in 1634, the first U.S. constable on record was Joshua Pratt in the Plymouth colony. Constables were tasked with surveying land, serving warrants, and enforcing punishment. So, in 1934 daw, nabuo ang unang constable sa United States na naitala ni Joshua Pratt. At ang constable na ito ay nagsisilbing tagabantay at magpatupad ng mga parusa. Next, please. A rattle watch was formed in New Amsterdam, later to become New York City in 1651. The New York City Rattle Watch strolled the state to discourage crime and search for lawbreakers, and also serve as town criers. Ang Rattle Watch daw ay nagsisilbing mga gwardya na pumupunta sa mga lansangan upang mag-survey kung may mga krimen bang nagaganap sa kanilang nasasakupan. When the English captured New Amsterdam in 1664, they installed a constable whose duties includes keeping the peace, suppressing excessive drinking, gambling, prostitution, and preventing disturbances during church service. A night watch was formed in Philadelphia in 1700. Next daw. Slave patrols. In the southern colonies, Formal slave patrols were created as early as 1704 in the Carolinas in order to prevent slave rebellions and enslaved people from escaping. So, ang ibig sabihin daw nito is noong 1704, sila ay gumawa ng isang organisasyon na kung tawagin ay slave patrol. Sila ay ang mga tagabantay sa mga alipin upang maiwasan ang paghihimagsik at pagtakas ng mga ito. Usually, ang mga alipin ay ang mga black people na kung tawagin na nanggaling pa sa bansang Afrika at sa pilitang kinuha papunta sa kanilang bansa upang maglingkod bilang mga kanilang alipin. Next. Next is the development of modern policing. Modern policing began to emerge in the U.S. in the mid-19th century, influenced by the British model of policing established in 1829. So dito na parang nagsimula yung modern policing in the United States, and that is influenced by the British model of policing. Next is the slave patrols in the South were abolished upon the abolition of slavery in 1860s. Dito na parang naging malaya yung mga naging alipin ng mga na kung tawagin ay yung mga slave patrols. Nakalaya na yung mga alipin ng mga Amerikano. And in 1905, the Pennsylvania State Police became the first state police agency established in the United States, as recommended by President Theodore Roosevelt's Anthracite Strike Commission and Governor Samuel Pennypacker. And dito na nga, formal na italaga na nagkaroon ng police state sa Amerika, particularly na sa Pennsylvania.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Arabella Marie Agregado. My report is all about 4 eras of policing system in United States. Next, please. Political era. The political era is often referred to as the first era of policing in the United States, and it began around 1840s with the creation of the first bona fide police agencies in America. So named because of the close ties between politics dated from the introduction of police into municipalities during 1840s and continued through the Progress period. During this era, police were on foot patrol and knew their communities very well. They knew exactly who was supposed to be there and who wasn't. The police recognized potential crime problems based on intelligence they received from members of the community and what they observe on a daily basis. Next, please. Reform era. Because the political of policing ended being laced with corruption and brutality, the panacea the negativity became formed. Reform era 1, police chief was largely the forefront of this new era. Chief August Vollmer, he is considered the pioneer for police professionalism. The reform era developed the reaction to the political. Some historians have been labeled the period from 1830 to 1850 as the age reform. Women in particular played a major role in these changes. Gay movements of the time fought for women's suffrage, limits on child labor, abolition, temperance, and prison reform. The reform movements that arose during the antebellum period in America focused on specific issues: temperature, abolishing imprisonment for death, pacifism, anti-slavery, abolishing capital punishments, amelioration of prison conditions, with prison purpose received as rehabilitation rather than punishments. In community era, in the 1960s and 1970s, the crime rate doubled and it was time of unrest and eye-opening policing issues. Civil rights movement spreads across America and the police were on front lines, which began in the late 1970s, developed over the past 3 decades, and continues into 20th century, albeit in a very different form from its origin. The philosophy of community policing is not specifically defined and may vary based on individual police departments. However, the underlying factors are all the same. These factors include the department reducing crime, fear, disorder, and for members of the community to feel that their police department is receptive to their feedbacks. Next, please. The Homeland Security Era. 2001 to present United States fourth era of policing the Homeland Security. On September 11, 2001, when terrorists hijacked airplanes and flew them into the World Trade Center buildings and Pentagon in the United States, a fourth era of policing, the era of Homeland Security, was said to emerge. The function of police under Homeland Security is to mark by a more focused concentration of its resources into crime control. Through crime control, many potential threats can be exposed and intelligence gathered in addition prior to Homeland Security policing that include traditional policing, community policing, problem-oriented policing, and zero-tolerance policing. The focus of policing under Homeland Security has incorporated the concepts of security and both anti-terrorism and counterterrorism into primary focus.
So, good evening everyone. I am Jubilin Tono. My report for today is all about basic type of police in USA. Basic type of police in USA is they have three types. Number one is federal. At the federal level, there exists both federal police who possess full federal authority as given to them under United States Code, and federal law enforcement agency who are authorized to enforce various law at the federal level. The FBI is one of the many different agencies that are part of federal law enforcement or department in charge of upholding federal law and supporting state and local law enforcement agency. In fact, FBI stands for Federal Bureau of Investigation, so that fact that is federal law enforcement agency is right in the letter. Other federal law enforcement agency include the Federal Marshal Service, the Bureau of Prison, Custom and Border Protection, Secret Service, and Transportation Security Administration, and among others. So when we say bureau is responsible for conducting investigation in case where federal law is have been violated or unless another agency of federal government is delegate. So for the main goal of federal is to protect the U.S. from foreign intelligence and terrorist activities, investigate violation of federal criminal law, and provide leadership and assistance important to other law enforcement. Next is state. Most state operate statewide government agency that provide law enforcement duties including investigation and state patrol. State law enforcement is made up of investigator and officers in charge of crime detection and prevention at the state level. The primary law enforcement agency in each state is generally called state police, state patrol, or highway patrol. They are in charge of patrol and investigation throughout the entire state, including rural areas where there might not be a local police. So, for the information, state law enforcement agency operate as the state level, investigating crime and maintain public safety within state. So, halimbawa na lang sa US is isang state law enforcement tapos nang ginahimo ta diri sa Philippines is ng mga patrol god nga nagalibot-libot kung gabi to prevent crime, not only to prevent crime but halimbawa na lang ng accidentally nga may ara sila sang crime nga makita dira sa gilid sang mga dalan or ano pa dira nga iba nila nga krimen nga makita. Next is local law enforcement agency. Local law enforcement agencies tend to exist only in metropolitan countries and have countrywide jurisdiction. Local agency, municipal police department, and county sheriff office are individuals responsible for keeping records of criminal complaints filed by their agency and offenses they investigate and the arrests they make. So, local law enforcement agency within a city, town, or country. Municipal police are in charge of patrol and investigation for a single or town city. Country sheriff department are in charge and patrol of a country as well as running the jail and court in the country. So local law enforcement means any officer, agent, or employee of the unit or local government authorized by law or by local government agency to engage or supervise the prevention, detection, investigation, or prosecution of any violation of crime. So, police, alimbawa na lang ng police nga naga-duty dira sa local law enforcement like dira sa city or municipality is ang main goal gid nila is community keep neighborhood safe and respond to emergency situation whether city, country, or halimbawa na may mga krimen or accidentally, sila dayon ang unang magresponde kay sila ang lapit sa mga municipality or municipality or city. That's all. Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Christian Apsay. My report is rank structures of police officials in United States. Again, police commissioners, also known as commissioner of police, it is a senior rank in many police forces of the world. In other jurisdictions, it is the title of a member of an oversight board. Assistant chief means the next command to the chief of consolidated local government police force or forces affected by KRS 67C 301 to 67C .327. Deputy Chief is a rank title used in American Canadian law enforcement. The position of Chief Deputy is primarily found within sheriff's offices throughout the United States and also exists of marshals, police departments, as well as constables departments. Next, mate. Inspector. It is a police officer who is in charge of usually several percent and ranks below a superintendent or deputy superintendent, a person appointed to oversee a polling place. Lieutenant, it is a sort of like management role for law enforcement. They take board direction from superiors. Captain. Captain serves as the commanding officers of divisions within police department. They ensure department policies are carried out and responsible for all personnel within their division, both sworn officers and civilians. Next, mate. Major. It is as it is served as the commanding officer of divisions within a police department. They ensure department policies are carried out and are responsible for all personnel within their division, both sworn officers and civilian. Colonel. A majority of state police as well as some municipal agencies use colonel or lieutenant colonel as their senior executive rank, often jointly with a civilian title such as superintendent, deputy superintendent, commissioner, deputy commissioner, or director, deputy director. Sergeant. It is a military non-commissioned officer with any of the ranks above corporal in the army or the marines or about airman first class in air force, especially an enlisted person with the rank just below that of staff sergeant. Okay, next, mate. Detective. It is a police officer whose job is to discover information about crimes and find out who is responsible for them. Officer deputy. It is a police officer whose job is to discover information about crimes and find out who is responsible for them. Thank you.
And last, these are just those of the law enforcement agencies in United States of America. United States Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation, United States Homeland of Security, United States Marshals Service, U.S. Capitol Police. And sana all.
That's all. Thank you.